One TV special report.
Salamat. And yes, sir, we sincerely appreciate your commitment and we look forward for the coordination and future collaborations relating to the DSWM programs. And this time, we now proceed to the next presentation. Now, allow me to introduce, it is with great honor and pleasure that we warmly welcome a distinguished public servant from Region 10 who currently serves as the Regional Manager of the Philippine Coconut Authority. Our guest speaker is a dedicated professional with extensive experience in both technical and government service, particularly in the fields of agriculture, geographic information systems, and public administration. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, major in agronomy, and her Master in Public Administration from Xavier University, and is presently a Doctor of Management candidate at Capital University. With a strong academic foundation and years of valuable professional experience, she continues to exemplify commitment, competence, and professionalism in public service, particularly in advancing development of coconut industry. May we now warmly welcome Ms. Yvette B. Gonzoin, the Regional Manager of Philippine Coconut Authority. Round of applause, please.
Thank you very much. My due respect to our working governor and chair of the Regional Development Council, Honorable Attorney Henry Waminal. We also have our Vice Governor, Honorable Rowena Gutierrez, our board members, especially our Board Member Chair of the Committee on Food and Agriculture, Honorable Winston Kakani, our local Chief Executives, Regional Executive Director of DA-10, Jose Apollo Pacamalan, sir, good morning. We also have our directors and fellow government workers, our beloved farmers and fisher folks, guests, good morning. I will be presenting the major programs, goals, and commitments for Misamis Occidental under the Office of the Philippine Coconut Authority. For the outline of the presentation, I will discuss the existing programs, commitments for Misamis Occidental, requirements and process for the services that are offered, and opportunities for convergence. PCA is mandated by the state to promote the rapid integrated development and growth of the coconut and other palm oil industry in all its aspects, and to ensure that the coconut farmers become the direct participants and beneficiaries of such development and growth. Meaning, ang Philippine Coconut Authority, ang iyang mandato mao ang pagtanaw, pag-atiman sa mga mag-uuma sa lubi, sa mga farm workers o sa iyang mga pamilya. No? And we are also maintaining a database. So this is our reference for the establishment of a verified list of coconut farmers. So natay gibasihan. So that is what we call National Coconut Farmers Registry System. So this is mandated by the Republic Act number 11524 or the Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund, that the PCA shall complete the Coconut Farmer Registry and conduct the annual verification together with the LGU and the Department of Agriculture. So this is one of our major concerns today. We are mandating, or I am mandating the Philippine Coconut Authority workforce to update, no? And then assess the veracity or the completeness of the NCFRS, since most of our services, programs, and projects are based on this registry system for the coconut farmers. Next, please. So this is the statistics for year 2023 for Region 10. So that's on the total coconut area. We have a total of 304,479 hectares. We have a total of 32 million bearing trees. Average net production of 48 per tree per year. Average nut, 48 nuts per tree per year. And then we have a total nut production that is 1,888 metric tons. For the total coconut farmers that is under the NCFRS data, that is 277,729. I guess there's a reaction on this since we are updating now. We are updating the list of the coconut farmers, and we are asking now for the support of the local government unit as well as the DA, no, Department of Agriculture, for the updating and then delisting of those coconut farmers that are not already qualified for the NCFRS. For the challenges, PCA is facing the senile. No? We have senile palms. Then we have also nutrient deficient palms, so that is why we are debating on the fertilization. We also have low productivity, so that is per area, no, per square meter. So we are into diversification for this matter. And then we also have the human challenge, that is poor and aging farmer population, as well as the environmental and infrastructural challenges. So we are faced with calamities and pest outbreaks, outdated farming practices, and lack of irrigation system. Most importantly, we are also affected with global challenges now, since most of the price, especially for copra, are dictated by the global market. And we also have global competitions. As we know, Philippines is now the third producing country now for coconuts, but it is the first or the major exporter now of coconut products. For the key strategic goals, we are into productivity enhancement. So we have to really maximize the utilization of our area. So for example, if you have 1 hectare coconut, then it can be turned into 2 hectares if you plant also 1 hectare of cacao or coffee, no, intercrop in the coconut. And it can even be turned into 3 hectares if you have vegetable production, no, in other products or crops to be planted in there. Then we're also looking at farmers empowerment. No? We're into establishing cooperatives so that time will come that farmers will no longer be dependent on government, no, by themselves. Then also market development for the products. Research and developments, we have research centers for PCA, and effective and sustainable organizational systems. Next. So for the major programs and projects of PCA, we have regular programs. Basically, we have a massive coconut planting program, since we know that the demand for coconut is high but the supply is scarce. No? And then we also have coconut fertilization, so to increase the production through the provision of nutrients for the coconut palms. Then we also have seed farm development program and coconut village development program, that is with the intercropping project. So our beneficiaries, so because it's Philippine Coconut Authority, so obviously that's coconut farmers registered under NCFRS or National Coconut Farmers Registry System, at least 0.5 hectares coconut farm area to a maximum of 3 hectares. So we're catering on the small coconut farmers, small in terms of land holdings. Farm clustering with 1 or several adjoining barangays. And here we have farmer beneficiaries may receive a combination with any of the project component under PCA's programs. So he or she can avail of the planting, replanting, as well as the, for example, fertilization component or package. No? And we also have the oil palm farmers. So this is now the directive of the President of His Excellency Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to plant 100 million seedlings by 2028. So here we have the breakdown that is from 2024, 8.5 million. So we have achieved this one, but in 2025, we were not able to achieve, no, for the entire nation, the 15.3 million target for the Philippines. Then 2026 will have 25.4 million target, 2027 and 2028. So we're really working on this one to achieve the 100 million goal for the coconut planting for 2026. Next. So we also have the fertilization. So we also have targeted from 2024 to 2028. That is really for improving the yield of the coconuts. So we have from 2024 2.85 million. Then 2025 and 2026 will have the target of 45.5 million palms to be fertilized. Then 2027 and 2028 will have 53 million palms to be fertilized. So this is the only seed farm development here in Misamis Occidental that is located in Barangay Lala, Osamis City. So only one. And then we also have next Coconut Village Development Project, or you have the intercropping component. Okay. Aside from the regular programs, so we have planting, replanting, fertilization, then we have the seed farm and village type development projects. We also have what we call as the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. So this is under RA 11524, which states that there's a 5 billion budget per year, and this is taken from the levy, Coconut Levy Fund. So this CFIDP, since we acknowledge from PCA that we cannot do entirely the needs, we cannot address the needs of the coconut farmers entirely on our shoulder. So that is why we have top implementing agencies. So we have partnered implementing agencies for the implementation of the various programs and projects that are designed to really help the coconut farmers, the farm workers, and their families. So we have here, for example, we have the social protection for the welfare of the farmers. We also have the organizations, which we will discuss later in detail. Also hybridization for the development of the coconut palms. We also have the financing, where you have land bank, development bank, and also the trainings. Okay, next. So this is the commitment for Misamis Occidental under the regular programs. So again, this is, since we were not able to achieve the target for 2025, so this is a carryover target for Misamis Occidental under Massive Coconut Planting Projects, or MCPP. So we have that there, the target municipality, and we have the beneficiaries, and we have the total of the coconut seedlings, the cost in thousand, and the timeline. So this is all targeted to be planted first semester of this year. Okay. Then this is also a continuation of the MCPP. That is also carry over from 2025. We have our target municipalities sa Pangdalaga, Bonifacio, Clarin, Ozames, Sinacaban, Tangog, and Tudela. So you have there the target number of beneficiaries or coconut farmers. We have the Balik Palihog. We have the supply, so that's the total number of coconut seedlings, the cost, and the timeline, which is also to be planted first semester of this year. Next. Here we have the coconut fertilization project, or the provision of the salt, no? So that is the agricultural grade salt fertilizer. So this is also a carryover. So this is a target from the previous year, 2025. So you have there the target municipalities, beneficiaries. So that's 1,425 coconut farmers. Then you times that to 100 per hectare. So that is why you have the 142,500 coconut trees, for example. Then the total number of agricultural grade salt fertilizers that will be provided, and then the cost in thousand and the timeline. So that is 2026, again targeted by first semester of 2026. Then next, so again, this is also the carryover, no? Wapag ginahuman kay nagproblema man ta sa kaning atong salt, kaya ang atong salt gikan pa man sa layo, whereas there is already a proposal that we should source out kaning asin sa local, no? Local na mga suppliers. So we have here the carryover for 2025. You have the target municipalities, then the fertilizers in bags that will be supplied and delivered, the cost, and then the timeline, no? For 2026. That is also a continuation. So, naay mga targets. Then you also have the fertilizers, no? Continuation also for Tangub and Tudela. Then we have balik sa proyekto, ma'am. We have the last one that's this is the new target for CY 2026 under GAA. So we have not determined the municipality yet, the city or the municipality, since we are acknowledging that you know very well who will be the recipients of this one. We have to coordinate with the provincial agriculture for the beneficiaries of this seedlings. So we have a total of 1,363 coconut farmer beneficiaries for this MCPP for 2026. That is 194,950 seedlings and the amount. And this will be planted or delivered by second or third quarter of this year. So it's also a continuation, but this time it's not under the GAA fund, but under the coconut hybridization program or seed farm, no? Open pollinated varieties. Again, open ang discussion on the coconut municipalities, since this will depend, no, on the letter of intent and the evaluation from the provincial agriculture as well as the PCA office here in Misamis Occidental. So we have target beneficiaries. Proposed the project will have 145,288 seedlings supplied and delivered. That is on the second and third quarter of this year. We also have the fertilization for this year. Again, all coconut municipalities, so target beneficiaries, you will have 2,500 agricultural grade salt fertilizers by third quarter, no? Delivery. Then we also have the Coconut Village Development Project. So this is in partnership with Department of Agriculture. So all coconut municipalities with the letter of intent, no? So that's 1,060 beneficiaries, with a total of 1,060 vegetable package with nutrient support. So that is for the third quarter of this year. Okay. We also have the coconut hybridization program, where you improve the variety of the coconuts. So that is all coconut municipalities, also 129. So we provide 18,477 coconut hybrid planting materials. The only difference when you have the hybrid is that you are not allowed to plant it, no, for the second generation. Pangkuan lang ang hybrid, pang production lang. Pas-pas utaas yung production, but dili siya pwedeng nimo itanom ang iyang offspring or katong iyang, dili siya pwedeng paliwatan ang hybrid. So that's second and third quarter of this year. We also have precision farming. Balik sa ma'am. So all coconuts are still to be identified. Basta all coconut municipalities, that means this is still to be identified together with the provincial agriculture and the local government here in this OC. And we have the provision of 18,477, same with the strategic planting, that is by third quarter of this year. Okay, so aside from the regular programs, we have, I hope you heard already of this one, under CFIDP, we have the health and medical mission. No? So, the program is provision of mobile health services and also information caravan. No? That is in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas of the region. So, initially, we have targeted Tangub, Misamis Occidental, but this is again to be referred sa provincial office. Then, target beneficiaries for the health and medical mission will be 1,116 eligible coconut farmers. So, pwede coconut farmer, pwede coconut farm worker, pwede po ang iyang mga kanang dependents as long as wala siya na 18 years old. No? Then, naay mga free medical and dental consultation and services, naay medicines. So this is handled by this time, handled pa siya sa Philippine Coconut Authority. No? That is, implementation will be January to June or first semester of this year. Then we also have the updating of the PhilHealth registration and PhilHealth Yakap. Okay. And this one is also continuing the hospitalization and medical care assistance. So we have the hospitals identified with MOA or naka-MOA siya with the provincial government sa MISOC and then sa Philippine Coconut Authority. So kung makato mo dito sa na MOA na hospital, dito mo na-confine, then you will be eligible as long as you are an NCFRS registered coconut farmer. You are eligible for the guaranteed letter na worth of 40,000 pesos. No? So that is also ongoing. So we have also from PCIC. So again, kanin ng mga targets, sakuan na niya siya sa mga partner implementing agencies. But ang ilang budget, gikan siya sa DBM, no? Gikan siya sa katong Coco Levy na fund. Pag abot sa Coco Levy, dito gidiretso sa DBM sa ilang agency, no? So wala na na-appeal ang wala ni-agree siya sa PCA. But then, ang goal sa PCA is that we have to ensure na ang beneficiaries atong ilang mga kanang services will be the coconut farmers, no? Farm workers and dependents. So many ang mass enrollment sa PCIC insurance. Then we also have the ATI, no? Agricultural Training Institute na trainings. So nakadawat yapon sila kwarta gikan sa CFIDP. No? And then ang iyang cost, that is around 3.9 million sa 2026 for Misamis Occidental. So mga trainings nakalodge na dito sa ATI, no? But specific ang matrain ana ang mga coconut farmers, farm workers, and the dependents. Okay? Then next we have the DTI on market promotions, then also market assistance and research, no? Strategic marketing research. For example, if you want to develop a product, so ang mag-assist ana for coconuts will be the Department of Trade and Industry. So, we are recognizing sa part sa PCA na dili na mo expertise ang uban ng mga services na gusto ihatag sa gobyerno para sa mga coconut farmers. That is why we are partnering with the implementing agencies or the other agencies of the government. Okay? Then, this is how you can access, no? Naadin na ang mobile health services, unsa niya mga gina-offer, for example, X-ray, ultrasound, no? And the lab tests. Naako din na ang hospitalization, katong iingon ako na kung ma-confine ka na kay 40,000 GL or guarantee letter na makukuhaan, ma-assured. Also, kung outpatient na ay 5,000 plus nakapag yung mga medication 5,000. So, the process na din na ang step-by-step guide. No? So, I will not go into the detail sa pag-discuss kung saan siya kanakang mataas naman. But if you are interested, no, we will talk after the content presentation so that we will be guided on how to access these services given by the CFIDP. We also have the cap insurance. So, na yung mga criteria din natin sa eligible for insurance. So, again, no, makita ninyo nga priority good ang katong nalista sa NCFRS. Okay? Then, priority pod ang katong age na coconut farmers. So, 55 years old and above. Then, na po yung atong ina-offer na kuan kanang scholarships sa mga coconut farmers na children, no? Mga anak sa coconut farmers. So, this is kanang i-course ang budget dito sa CHED, no? Commission on Higher Education. So, ang among gawin mo is to endorse kung na ay mga kanang letters na maabot ng mga applications and also assess, no, sa kanang pagpili po sa kanang mahimong scholar with CHED, no? Then we also have trainings, farm schools sa ATI, and also kung namin mga specific na skills na kinahanglanon or gusto, then you'll have TESDA, no? Itagaan po sila og pondo. Then next, we have the CDA. So naagyapon, if you want to avail of this one, especially for the organizations that are aiming to be a cooperative, so naa sa CDA, naapo din na ang iyang criteria, no, saan pag-avail. Then we also have the hybridization. Kanina siya na objective for this one is to really upgrade, no, sa klase sa atong or variety sa mga coconuts nato sa Philippines. Then next, this one, intercropping, this is through the Department of Agriculture. This time, sa karon ng tuig, ang ipanghatag kay vegetables, no, sa galaylay man na siya kada year. So karon is vegetables. So naadi na ang criteria for eligibility. Then, livestock also, we are partnering with the Bureau of Animal Industry and also we have sa dairy, sa National Dairy Authority. Okay? And then, sa processing, no? Sa processing sa byproduct sa coconut, you have Philmet. Sila po ang gahandle, no, sa mga machines, sa mga facilities or sa mga buildings na ginakuha nato if we intend, no, to do the to build this processing facility or establish, no, kanina project. Okay. Then, credit. So, ga-report po doon kanin sa Land Bank. Also, we have Development Bank. Ga-update po sila po pila na ang kanang naka-avail, no, and we can also check kung unsa na po ang ilang kung pilang interest mamaya na sa Land Bank. So, again, ang pinaka-criteria kinahanglan yung rehistrado sa NCFRS. And we have DTI on marketing assistance, research and market promotion, and then infrastructure. This time, ang sa farm to market roads na adto siya sa kanang DA, no? Pwede siya mo, dito sa DA siya ang mag-implement, although na ay parts na naagyapon sa DPWH. So kanang atong mga partner agencies in the implementation of the CFIDP for the good of the coconut farmers, farm workers, and their dependents or families. So, here we have identified now the opportunities for convergence since, again, kung saligan na to ang budget sa government in terms of planting and replanting, dili siya igo, no, ang katong budget para makuha na to ang katong 100 million na planting materials or coconut seedlings by 2028. So we are advocating on, for example, na ay mga companies na ang ilang corporate social responsibility, pwede nila ma-convert into planting ka ng coconuts, no? Para madaghan. And then we're also trying to record katong mga individual na mga tanong sa lubi para ma-add na to siya sa katong pila na ang atong population, pila na ang atong supply for the coconuts. We also would like to partner sa fertilization. For example, we have power energy like energy na sila sources of salt na pwede na ito ikuha na process and then available na siya ang katong salt para sa lubi, no? Next, opportunity for convergence kani pong profiling and NCFRS updating. Karon, dako kayo ang challenge kay dili gid kaayo ma-profile kung pila gyud ang kanang coconut farmers kay mag balin-balin, no? Kadali na po i-register. So, muna ang trabaho gid karon sa PCA kani gid ang isa is to profile the coconut farmers and to update the NCFRS. Kaya nga naman, daghan kaayo ang programs and services ang gabasihan kani siya nga data, no? Sa NCFRS. Then, also, opportunity for convergence would be the project monitoring. So if we can have, for example, the organizations, farmer organizations, to help us monitor unsa ang mga dagan sa mga projects na na-implement on the ground so that we can also check, no? Unsa ang kanang angay nato ipadayon, unsa ang angay nato i-improve sa atong mga projects and programs. Then, opportunities again, diversification and farm income enhancement. So, kita nato bisan pag isang hektarya or kung sa hektarya imong lubi, pwede na siya mahimong productive, no, if you diversify. Maghimo kag fish pond, magpadako ka ng mga kanang baboy baron, livestock, manok, and then you also do intercropping. So bisan pa tunga ra na sa hektarya imong kalubihan, pwede na siya mahimong mudagan ang iyang kita, no, when you do maximum utilization of your area, no. Then, again, kani po siya, no, pwede na ito tabangan, local government units, and also sa mga organizations, and even, no, mga other agencies, market access and promotion para sa atong products. Especially, ang atong intention sa uban na mga products really on the export, kanang pagawas. Pero, kung tutukan nato na ay dako kayo nga demand sa local, so why not promote ang kaning coconut byproducts dinhi sa local market, no? So isa sa atong pwede nga mahimo. Then we're also targeting that we will have the local coconut industry development council so that kung na may mga issues, concerns sa mga coconut farmers or sa kanang stakeholders, then we can have a council that will provide the resolutions so that this will be taken up, no? Dili sa municipal ba na level, provincial, regional, or national na level. Basta naatay ka ng council na strong siya, no? Or empowered. Then also, we'll have the social protection and farmers welfare. So muna, kasagaran may nga unsa man ang PCA nga naadto naman siya sa kanang health. So we are also looking at the welfare of the coconut farmers. Kay kung luya or masakito ng atong mga mag-uuma sa lubi, so natural dili pud maayo pagatiman ang mga kalubihan. So we have to also look at unsa ang ilang welfare, unsa ang ilang health through the provision of these health and medical programs. Okay, next. So this is the contact person. So here we have an office sa Ozami City, nasa Golden D in building. So we have our acting division chief since nag-retire naman si Sir Bong Calio, no, sa last December. So we have Sir Crispin Gamoa, gani si Sir. So si Sir Crispin taga Miss Okid siya. So kabalo na siya ug unsa gid ang unsa po ang status, unsa ang problema sa Miss Ok, no? And we also have our senior agriculturist, Sir Laureano Gabuya. So sila ang naadini sa Misamis Occidental kung na may concerns ang katoto mga coconut farmers. And then we have our agriculturists. Next please. We have our agriculturists sa other areas, no, naadin na sa unsa na municipality or city na atay naka-assign na coconut na development officer man tawag na sa una. Karon we have agriculturist 1, 2 to assist on your, especially the practices sa coconut and your concerns in terms of the coconut industry. Okay? Then, muna siya example, we have a meeting sa Riyadh City, no? So, where we have the interagency, atong mga partners. So, we meet every month. So, last January, nakamit na ta sa Ilaha, although dili di siya complete ang attendance. Ang uban na sa Zoom, and ang uban wala po nakapil. Kaya na po yung mga equally important activities. The next, so this one, we were visited by the Vice Mayor of Plaridel, no? LGU Plaridel, and they handed over a resolution of appreciation sa Region 10. This was when we conducted a mobile health service dito sa Plaridel. And also, just sharing, so next please. We have here, so we won the Outstanding Regional CFIDP Program Implementer Award for 2025. So we are recognized for the achievements, no, in terms of really providing service for the coconut farmers. So this is our new office. If ever you want to go to the regional office of PCA, so this is now located at El Salvador City. So wala na siya dito sa Pugod, katong dapit sa Mercado. So na nasa El Salvador, sa Zone 3 Poblacion, so mosaka ka, paingon sa PDEA, then abay na ang Bifar na province sa Misor. So, napali blessing sa February 24, kaya wala pa siya na appointed. So, we'll have the blessing sa 24 for the PCA Regional Office. At the same time, this will be a training center. Ang iyang third floor, pangkuhan siya na pang training sa mga coconut farmers and other na mga stakeholders. Okay, I guess that's all. Mayong adlaw dalang kayo. Salamat.
Daghang salamat, Ma'am Yvette. So, thank you very much also for presenting the major programs and thrust of the PCA Region 10 and also your programs na aligned for Mr.